Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles in this episode for you. The URLs are listed in the description of this video for your convenience. The first one here is off of Natural News, and it says, Mother arrested for homeschooling after school system failed her children. There are many different reasons why parents make the decision to homeschool their children, and often the results are extremely positive. Indicate that children who are homeschooled are more likely to excel academically and score higher on standardized tests than the national average. One nationwide study found that homeschooled students scored in the 18th percentile for every test category compared to the 15th percentile, which happens to be the national average. Because of the extraordinary benefits detailed in numerous studies, many parents come to the conclusion that homeschooling is far better choice than public education. When single mother Kyrie, I think it's pronounced Harris, of Buffalo, New York, made the decision to homeschool her children, she never expected to wind up being taken away in handcuffs. She, like thousands of other parents across the country, simply wanted to give her kids quality education, not once considering that there would ever be any legal issues. But despite her best intentions, things didn't exactly go as planned. Kyrie Harris originally sent her children to Buffalo public schools, but when she started to believe that the school system was failing her kids, she decided it was time to take them out and try homeschooling. All the necessary paperwork, and also filed an individual education program so that she could homeschool her elementary school kids. I spoke directly to a homeschool coordinator, and she told me from this point on, my children were officially unenrolled from school, Harris told WKBW. Even though she was careful to carry out the entire process properly, things still took a turn for the worse. Just 1 week later, Harris received a call from Child Protective Services when they asked her why her kids were no longer attending school. She explained that she had taken them out of school and that they could be homeschooled, or so they could be homeschooled, and that she had all of her paperwork for them that was necessary. About a month later, in mid-January, Kyrie Harris noticed several police cars outside her home, and as she was driving by. One of them followed her for a few blocks until she finally pulled over. The officer handed her a court summons for child neglect. She refused to hand her kids over to the authorities. She was arrested for obstruction of justice. The children were located shortly after the arrest and placed into foster care system. In a Facebook video published on her page, Kyrie Harris explains that Buffalo City Hall never reached out to her kids' former school to notify them that they were now being homeschooled. The school, thinking that Harris was illegally preventing them from being contacted Child Protective Service and to fill them in on the entire situation. Harris told WKBW that it has been 3 weeks since she has seen her children, forced not only to deal with her obstruction of justice charge in court, but she is also fighting separately to get her kids back into her custody. This should not have happened, said Franklin Redd, a representative from the district parent coordinating council. Someone along the way should have simply said, wait a minute, CPS should not be in here. The principal should have been circled back to and told these students were unenrolled. Councilman Ulysses Wingo spoke out the matter at a Buffalo Common Council meeting that took place earlier this week, calling the fact that Harris was arrested utterly unacceptable. Someone somewhere messed up, he said, and that someone needs to face the music. And then there is a link you can go to here. If you click on the link, it'll take you to more homeschooling stories. This is absolutely ridiculous. Not only should they have to face the music, they should have to pay this lady for all of her legal counsel, emotional duress money. Holy smoke. Those kids will probably have to go into therapy now, being yanked out of their home. Oh, I mean, there are not even words. Not even words. I can't make this stuff up. Up in Natural News, and it says, is your TV spying on you? For millions of viewers, the answer is yes. Now, before you go, I know there's some of you that's going to say, hey, she's got her tinfoil hat on. Listen to the article. Just listen to what this thing says. In 1949, author George Orwell published the now famous novel 1984, in which he wrote about Big Brother government that severely infringed on the rights and privacy of the people. Today, with technology becoming more and more advanced and the federal government becoming increasingly intrusive, what was once just science fiction in a storybook is quickly becoming reality. Vizio, one of the largest and most well-known producers of smart TVs in the country, is now being forced to pay $2.2 million after the company was caught collecting the viewing habits of their customers without their knowledge or permission. The technology is to happen with something called ACR, or Automated Content Recognition, which is contained in every Vizio television that is connected to the internet. The ACR software collected the information from the video images displayed on the screen and then sent that data to the manufacturer's servers, the data to anonymous third parties. The official complaint filed by the Federal Trade Commission on Monday, the FTC, asserted that Vizio earns revenue by providing television viewing history to third parties through licensing agreements on a television by television basis for three main uses specified by contracts. The complaint then goes on to list the reasons why Vizio distributed the collection or the collected information for the purpose of audience measurement, for the purposes of analyzing advertising effectiveness, and for the purposes of targeting advertising to customers or consumers. In an attempt to defend their practices, Vizio said in a statement, information that they collected via the ACR system was connected to anyone's personal identification. The ACR program never paired viewing data with personal identifiable information such as name or contact information, the company explained. But their claim that no personal identifiable information was ever collected may not be accurate. The ACR software occasionally collected IP addresses and may have had the ability to retrieve detailed personal information regarding the age, sex, income, marital status of Vizio customers. This was made possible due to a feature called Smart Interactivity, which suggests viewer without letting them know that it was simultaneously collecting their viewing habits and other information. Vizio must now pay $1.5 million to the Federal Trade Commission and an additional $700,000 to New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs. Vizio has also agreed to alert customers of their data collection practices moving forward. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time we have seen smart TVs infringe on privacy rights. In 2013, a blogger came forward claiming to have proof television was collecting and sharing private information. The data included not only a list of shows that were being watched, but also the names of files on both business and residential networks. It turns out it was pulling file names from my shared folders and broadcasting those instead, he wrote. Though conducting similar practices, decided it would be best to come out with the truth before any significant legal action was taken against them. Talking about the remote controls voice recognition feature, the company warned, please be aware that if your spoken words or other sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured and is transmitted to a third party. And if you want more information regarding this case, you can visit ftc.gov. Can't make this stuff up. The next one here It's off of the U.S. Herald, and it says, video. Assaults white boy gets crushing news from the DA. There is video in this. Obviously, if you want to pull it up and see that for yourself, you're welcome to do so. It's graphic. And trying to get it to scroll up here so that I can read it. A little more. Poor little hamster's wearing out. I'm wondering how long hamster's going to live before I have to replace hamster. It says, this horrifying video has gone viral after its recent live leak. The video itself is so controversial that it even comes with an anger warning for the viewers. It would seem that this brass knuckle wielding thug, complete unprovoked, unleashed a brutal assault on an unsuspecting white 12-year-old. The video itself has gotten a lot more attention, and many people are completely outraged by the delinquent punk. The video starts out with the bratty thug wannabe smiling at the camera and showing off his brutal weapon. The wannabe thug is 16 years old and, for reasons unknown, decided to target an innocent white 12-year-old. And getting it to scroll up a little bit here. Apparently, the two had been involved in some sort of an argument or dispute before this, and punk chose to deal with the argument in typical thug fashion with a sucker punch to the head. To make matters worse, cooperate with me here. To make matters worse, he first equips himself with a pair of brass knuckles. The young thug smiles at the camera and then gives the camera the finger with a disgusting air of arrogance. He then sneaks up behind the 12-year-old and drills him right in the face, knocking the preteen unconscious. Enough, the coward bully proceeds to unleash a fury of brass knuckle blows to the unconscious boy, finally dragged off by a female bystander. Luckily, the whole thing was caught on video. The victim's parents later took the victim to the police station in order to file a police report. According to the police affidavit, he came in with bruised eye, a big cut on his neck, and a large hole in his neck that will probably require stitches. Even more part of the police report that documents the victim's awakening from his blackout. The victim reported that he awoke and thought he had gravel in his mouth, but it was pieces of his teeth. Wannabe thug, police did not let the brutal assault go by lightly. After seeing the video and the police report, the district attorney has decided to try the thug, Kane, as an adult. Millsaps is now facing first-degree battery and brass knuckles felony charge. If convicted, Millsaps could face up to 20 years in prison. Most who have seen the video agree that this is deserved punishment for low-life scum like Millsaps. Here is that article. Goodness gracious. Makes you wonder, I mean, generation, but I can't imagine a 16-year-old behaving. I wonder what kind of home life has attributed to the mentality in that kind of a manner. The next article is off of Western Journalism, and it says, Lady Gaga plays it safe, comes out of the Super Bowl a winner. It was a tough Super Bowl for Trump haters. Not only did the New England Patriots, whose owner and star quarterback are friends of President Donald Trump, came in the game, the moment many liberals waited for. Hillary Clinton supporters, Hillary Clinton supporter, Lady Gaga, halftime show, came and went with nothing more than great entertainment without an overt political message. Got two great messages. One, a compliment from Ivanka Trump, a massive spike in sales. Work with me here. Ivanka Trump made a tweet. If I can get it up, I'll read it. Okay, she says, incredible performance by Lady Gaga, Pepsi halftime Super Bowl. Many who expected the kind of overt politicization employed by Beyonce at the Super Bowl a year ago were devastated. It totally safe, wrote Chris Richards in the Washington Post, but for an artist to sell herself as an agitator, Gaga seemed content being on Sunday night, putting plenty of effort without taking any significant risk. Like any Gaga concert, her halftime show cultivated the mood of bewilderment, wowie zowie that aimed to impress prize. Maybe it would have been too much to ask for a legitimate political statement. No, starting off with a short, we're all in this together medley of God bless America and this land is your land doesn't count. But to rank true peak Gaga, it fell as an absolutely unforgettable moment short, sniped Andrew Berger, writing for Billboard. Twitter alternated between tantrums and tears. And one tweet says, Lady Gaga missed your opportunity to make a real statement. I was waiting for a message. It says, no explicit Trump statement by Gaga, missed opportunity completely. Come on, hamster. Another one says, disappointed Lady Gaga didn't take this opportunity to speak against Trump at the Pepsi halftime show at Super Bowl today. The article continues. It says, however, using an entertainment venue for music and not politics proved to make Lady Gaga a big winner, according to Nielsen Music. Buyers enthralled by her show snapped up about 150,000 digital albums and songs in the U.S. on Sunday, an increase of about 1,000% from Saturday. 125,000 song downloads, her Born This Way, Bad Romance, and Poker Face, dramatic increases. One song, A Million Reasons, had 45,000 downloads alone and a 900% increase over the roughly 5,000 downloads on Saturday. There you have it. Sometimes doing the right thing pays off, doesn't it? The next thing we have here is conservativetribune.com. Nordstrom canceled business with Ivanka, stock price instantly nuked. History has shown us that most companies that decide to declare war on President Donald Trump don't end up on the winning side. Pepsi stock tumbled when its CEO decided to tell the world how unsafe she and her employees felt after Trump's election, and Macy's has seen its business go down the tubes since it decided to go after him. Nordstrom might be the next casualty after deciding to stop carrying Ivanka Trump's brand of clothing and shoes. According to the New York Stock Exchange, Nordstrom stock have gone from a high of 61.49 in December down to a low of 42.78. Last week, the retailer announced it would sever ties with the Ivanka Trump brand. Reuters reported that the decision was based on its performance. We've said all along we make buying decisions based on performance, Nordstrom said in a statement to the Associated Press last week. We've got thousands of brands, more than 2,000 offered on the site alone. Reviewing their merit and making edits is part of the regular rhythm of our business, it added. The company also posted to social media that the move was not a political one. Wonder after it was reported that the company sent an internal memo to employees offering company support for immigrants after President Trump's temporary immigration ban. Stocks even took a dive Wednesday morning, shortly after the president criticized the company for treating his daughter unfairly, CNBC reported. Shares declined. Come on, shares. Well, Shares declined more than 1% after Trump posted a critical tweet, but soon rebounded slightly. We don't know if the decline in Nordstrom stocks is related to the company's decision to stop carrying Ivanka Trump's brand, but it surely is an interesting coincidence. And the final article I have in this episode, sfgate.com, and it says gaping hole in Oroville Dam spillway is growing, officials warn. And there's some video in this if you want to pull it up and take a look at that for yourself. This says Butte Sheriff Department officials said Friday afternoon that the massive crater in the main spillway of Dam or Oroville Dam likely won't force the use of an emergency spillway to divert water from the swelling reservoir. Stormwater and snowmelt filled up the reservoir this week, necessitating release on the spillway to the Feather River. The cement outlet was closed Tuesday after officials noticed water was flowing irregularly. After stopping the flow, engineers found a gaping hole in the concrete chute. By Thursday, the hole had grown to about 45 feet deep and 300 feet wide long, according to KCBS report. On Friday, the Butte Sheriff released a statement suggesting that an unpaved emergency spillway would likely be used for the first time ever. Trees and brush this week in the event that the release was needed, but during the noon hour Friday, the department posted an update on the flow suggesting the emergency release is not imminent. Water flow over the Oroville spillway is currently at 65,000 CFS or cubic feet per second at the current rate of release Water flow over the Oroville spillway is currently at 65,000 CFS cubic feet per second at the current rate of release, and with the current weather forecast, officials do not believe use of the emergency spillway will take place, the department wrote on Facebook. Situated in the western foothills of the Sierra, Lake Oroville is the second largest man-made reservoir in California after Shasta. It is a key flood control and water storage facility within the California State Water Project, and its freshwater releases control salinity intrusion into the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta and protect the health of fish and wildlife. As of Friday morning, the lake was at 98% capacity. Photos of the damage and chunks of concrete yanked from the mile-long spillway went viral on social media. Engineers don't know what caused the cave-in to keep growing until it reaches bedrock. Here in this, if you want to pull it up to view that, it says the does not expect the discharge from the reservoir to exceed the capacity of any channel downstream as the water flows through the Feather River on the San Francisco Bay. Officials say the Oroville Dam itself is sound and there is no imminent threat to the public. No accusations have been made issued at this time to the Oroville spillway, the sheriff's department posted. And there's some maps and videos and things there. It says conditions are more perilous for the fish population at the fish hatchery below, one crucial to California's salmon industry, which produces some 7 million fish a season. Thursday to snap up in its nets 4 million fish in danger of dying and then trucking them miles downstream to safety, but nearly 5 million other fish couldn't be removed. The turbidity or cloudiness of the water running into Feather River Hatchery was off the charts, said Harry Morse, a spokesman for the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Normal turbidity levels tend to be on the 5 to 10 scale, while Thursday's recordings soared into the 400s, he said. This is just uncharted territory, Morse said, adding that a team of scientists were working to rig up makeshift filtration systems inside the hatchery to protect the eggs in danger. Workers were moving the millions of young fish, said to be about 3 months to safely release into the wild. About 10 miles down the river to Thermalito via giant tanker trucks with existing fish infrastructure far enough off the river that they should survive, Morse said. After dipping down to record low levels during the California drought, Lake Oroville, the state's second lake, is now near capacity. So that's all I have in this episode, but there's more episodes to follow. If you like what I'm doing here, share this on your social media so everybody will get to see it. You like this, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll stay informed. See you in the next episode.